Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel for everything Arsenal and everything football. Thanks for being here. I hope you're all doing well. So, the transfer window is open, and as usual, Arsenal is always linked to countless players. But this time around, there are more outs than ins, and we are going to be discussing Mesut Ozil. We're going to be discussing Saliba, Kolasinac. Was Ozil poorly treated at Arsenal? Was Saliba supposed to stay at Arsenal? All those topics will be discussed today, and I have a couple of guests with me. Zohum, how are you?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I'm good. Harvey?
I'm good. Yeah, 3 wins and a bounce with Arsenal at the minute, so I'm a bit happy.
Yeah, and probably Ozil leaving to Callum. How are you? He's having a problem with it. Yeah, no problem. I could hear some feedback. So, Zohom, you're going to be talking about Ozil, Kolasinac, Saliba. In case you want to chip in the comment section, let me know. So Zoom will start with you. What have you made of the transfer window so far, the first 6 days? Sorry, I can hear some feedback, but I will sort that out. What have you made of the transfer window so far?
I think it's been somewhat positive. I'm a little bit encouraged by it. I really understand the need to trim the squad and understand how difficult it can be because we've been a team that pays Champions League wages for Europa League players for such a long time. It's difficult to move them on. So it's really encouraging. We started with Kolasinac. I mean, we're hearing Socrates and Ozil are on the way. Matt Macy is apparently gone on loan as well, and we've also brought in Omar Rekic. So it's a bit encouraging. I'm really interested to see what's going to happen towards the end of the window because I understand it. We really do need to trim the squad. It's going to take some time. So I hope something happens towards the end of the window.
Awesome. How about you, Harvey?
Well, we've managed to get a little bit of the deadwood out with Kolasinac. Sent William-Saliba out because he wasn't given a chance, which I can see fair enough. I'm happy it's a loan with no obligation or option to buy. I think now we need to get rid of Özil, Socrates, and Mustafi, and probably more. And if we can maybe, but I'm not even sure what I want to bring in this window. Probably another midfielder to go alongside Partey, but I'm not too sure on the attacking midfielder front anymore because Emil Smith-Rowe has been that good.
Awesome. Callum, you okay now? What have you made of the transfer window so far?
Well, we're getting rid of the dead wood in our team that we've had to get rid of for years. And Ozil will be the top for me. He's the one that took the mick out of this club for so many years, stealing a living. He's still a living out of us. Do you know what I mean? And he's been mediocre for years. Even when he played, he was missing in big games. He was like we're playing 10 men all the time when he played. So I'm happy. I'm going to get him off the wage bill. We got Kolasinac off the wage bill. I mean, we're hopefully getting Socrates out. We're getting. I want Mustafi out. I want a load of these deadwood players out, and maybe get a few bring through the youngsters through, and get another midfielder. You know what I mean? To alongside Partey, because our midfielders we're very weak in that department. Other than Partey and Maitland-Niles be playing well. We've got Eleni, who's rubbish, who should leave as well. We've got Xhaka. Don't get me started about Xhaka. Do you know what I mean? But he should leave as well, in my opinion. And so we're getting rid of them, and I just hope we get rid of them. I won't get no one in this transfer. Get rid of them, all the deadwood. Get them all out, and then we start again in the summer, and we can start building a squad that we can challenge.
Yeah. So as I said in the intro, we'll be talking about Ozil, Kolasinac, and Saliba, and obviously, as you can see, I don't know. Zoom, can you hear an echo?
Yeah, no, I can't. I'm good actually. I'm all right.
Awesome. So we'll be talking about those three players, and obviously we'll be focusing more on Ozil. As you can see, his picture is bigger on that. So we'll start with Ozil. Zohom, how happy were you when you signed Ozil back in 2013?
I was so excited. I was genuinely excited. I keep mentioning on this show, I started supporting Arsenal after we lost the Champions League final. 2006. I'm not an old fan. And Ozil was the player after Thierry Henry left. He was the biggest player in my opinion, during that time, and it was the sign. It was supposed to be the sign of things to come. You know, other players were going to come in and complement Ozil, and we're going to get the best out of him. But yeah, I mean that never came through, and I feel a bit gutted, to be honest, that it didn't happen, because he was such a majestic player, and I think, you know, I get what Callum is saying. He is frustrated, and I'm also slightly a little less frustrated, but certainly I think if we had better players around him, we would have seen better performances in those big games when we needed him most, because the quality around him was just, I mean, it's the evidence is there for everyone to see. We're all complaining about the quality that we have in the squad, and this is a result of poor planning for years and years. And this is a really sad ending for what was Mesut Ozil at Arsenal.
Harvey, what about you? 2013, we signed Mesut Ozil. Were you excited? Did you know him before were you a fan of him before he was joining Arsenal?
100%. When we signed him, I was 10 years old at the time. So I just started like properly getting into football. And then I remember the day we signed him, I seen it on Sky Sports News. I was absolutely gassed. I got the shirt with Özil on the back, number 11. And then, do you know what? It's always been a hit and miss with him. Because sometimes we've seen him and we're like, wow, this guy is, world-class, best attacking midfielder in the world. And then there's other times where if we're losing, he's shown us a scapegoat. Or, it's Özil's fault. He doesn't track back. He doesn't do this. And following from Zuham said, he said that, if we had better players around him, we would have, seen probably the best from him. And I have to agree with that, because we got to look, right, when we had world-class players near him, right, Sanchez and him together, what happened? Them two absolutely bossed the league. So I'm saying, imagine if we managed to get, more world-class players to play with Özil, who knows what he's done at Arsenal.
Callum?
I don't believe that. I believe that we did have world-class players in that midfield. We had Santi Cazorla. You're saying that guy was a world-class. He's probably one of the best midfielders after we lost to Vieiras and all them type of midfielders, Petit and all that. Santi Cazorla was class. We had Ramsey, who won us an FA Cup with his late goal.
He wasn't world-class.
No, for me, he was a class player. For me, maybe not world-class, but he was a class player. Do you know what I mean? He was a class. But what Ozil brought, when Sanchez was in the team, is Sanchez did all the running. He was a workhorse. Yeah, he run from one side of the pitch to the other and still he was that good. Sanchez was that good, yeah, and that's why Ozil looked good. Yeah, but then soon it's funny when he goes, well, what happens? He's had 1-2 good seasons at Arsenal in the 8 he's been here, and he's like, I'm so happy for him to go. I'm not sad because it's not Ozil FC, it's Arsenal FC. I'm not sad. I don't care. He's not been good enough for Arsenal. He's not been good enough.
Were you a fan of him at Schalke, Real Madrid? Just a minute. Were you a fan of him when he was joining Arsenal before? At Madrid or Schalke? I
watched him a little bit. Like, obviously, at that time, I just watched strictly Arsenal. It's only been a few years that I've been watching other teams and stuff more, yeah. But I watched strictly Arsenal, and I knew about him. I knew he was a class player. Do you know what I mean? He was at Real Madrid. He was at number 10 there, you know what I mean? But for me, I don't rate him as highly as other people. But in his whole career, he's the most setups he's done for a player was Giroud in his whole career, and he set up Ronaldo. Do you know what I mean? For me, I don't know.
Go ahead,
yeah, I get your frustration. I really do. But even when we had Alexis Sanchez and whatnot, that's when I still felt the club needed a bit more. I didn't think we had enough quality players. Of course, I love Santi Cazorla. Of course, I love Alexis Sanchez. And we had some really good midfield combinations. We had some really good things going for us. But when we just needed that final push, I just didn't think we had enough goals. I remember Arsene Wenger at some point said we needed more goals and from midfield, and Unai Emery said something similar, and Mikel Arteta said something similar. We need more goals from midfield. And when you consider the best season, in recent years, the best season we could have challenge for the title is when Leicester won it. There was a 13-game streak that Olivier Giroud went on, not scoring any goals. And Mesut Ozil was at his best that season. I remember he had about 16, 17 assists by Feb, and then Giroud got him nothing. And ultimately, I really think it cost us the league that season. So that epitomizes my frustration with Arsenal as a football club, and I just didn't think we had enough around him to get the best out of him. And yeah, I think if we won the league, you would have been saying something different.
Okay, so Javi, before you got Aubameyang and Lacazette, was Ozil our best signing for the last 10 years from, like, let's say 2010 to like 2017?
I believe not. I think Alexis Sanchez was, but then probably after Alexis Sanchez, I'm gonna have to say him because, you know, when him and Sanchez played together, we saw how good Mesut Özil really was. And following on from what Miham just said, he just said that, you know, Giroud went scoring about 13 goals. Imagine if he started scoring, maybe even like 6 of them, 6 more goals, which probably ultimately meant more wins, which probably did cost us the league title that season.
Yeah, I agree with that. So Callum, Ozil joins. He scores his first goal against Napoli. He also has a very, very good game, Premier League debut against Sunderland. What do you remember about that game?
I remember that cross he did from I think it was he was on the wing. And he did that pass that one time. Was it not one time? He did that pass into Giroud, wasn't it? I think it was. Yeah. I remember. I honestly thought that first couple of seasons, he was class. You know, he was class. But for me, there was a reason why Real Madrid got rid of him. You know, because he goes missing. He goes missing in big games. He's done it for so long. Fair enough. I get that we've always needed more. Arsenal have always needed that 1 or 2 more players. We've always needed it. Back then it was a striker. Then it was a defensive midfielder. Then it was this. You know what I mean? We've always needed that. But Ozil always goes missing in big games. When we need him, he turns up in these games when we play Ludogorets and takes the mick out of them players. Do you know what I mean? But then we come against a quality side in the league and he goes missing. And he's nowhere to be seen. Do you know what I mean? That's why I think he still stole a living from this club. He stole a living, and he's fair enough. It's the club's fault for offering him a contract because I would offer Alexis Sanchez double what Ozil's on just to stay at the club. But you know, it's not. I don't say it's his fault in that sense, but it's his fault that I think he's just a lazy, luxurious player that you need just world-class players around him. You need like a whole team of bloody Ronaldos around him just for him to perform at his best. If he don't have them players around him, he's missing. He goes missing. He's not the one type of player we've ever needed. Really, we need a player grab the like Sanchez grabs the game by the scruff of the neck when we're losing or when we need a goal. He'll be there, or we need an assist. He'll be there. Ozil wasn't there, in my opinion. So, good riddance. Good riddance.
We'll come to that Ozil Sanchez situation, but I wanted to ask you the same question as home. Is he our best signing in the last 10 years?
Yeah, I really think so. I mean, Aubameyang comes real close, but I genuinely believe, he was supposed to be the gate opener of new players that would be world class around him. And yeah, man, I genuinely believe he did need better players around him. I mean, I don't know how much better to explain it. I mean, he was a creative midfielder, and Arsene Wenger believed in that philosophy of building a team around someone as good as Mesut Ozil. But ultimately, it was all about the funds. I'm telling you, if we had decent signings, if we actually pushed for Luis Suarez when we should have, if we actually got Higuain when he was at least at the prime of his career at Real Madrid, or even Benzema, if we pushed for such players, when prime center backs are available, we sign no one. Or when remember that season we signed Petr Cech only. It's ridiculous, the lack of form.
We came second that year.
Exactly. That's what makes me. That's what frustrates me so much, man. Because these guys, all these rival fans, they talk a lot of poo-poo, man. But they weren't that much better than us with
Yeah.
our lack of funding, and that's what frustrates me. It's like there's frustration at board level from fans, and eventually it seeps down. It goes onto the pitch. It goes onto the fans, and then you have to you think about it. And you even wonder, are we ever really gonna push? I know we just signed Thomas Partey and them, and yeah, hopefully, but we need to see more. So yeah, man, I hope this time we don't mess this up, because I believe we have a good core, very, very good core.
Yeah. Okay, City. Hi, man. Shout out to a couple of my members. Okay, City. I hope everything is well on that side. We all know what is happening. And another of my members, Nat, how are you, man? I hope you're good. WSL says our club is a shambles. Yeah, we all know that. We all know that. So, have we fast forward a couple of years, three years or something? It comes to Sanchez and Ozil. Who do we keep? Who did you want to stay at that time?
Alexis Sanchez. You know, he was our best player. He scored us all the goals. You know, took the game by the scruff of the neck. As Callum just said, he was just everything. When he left Arsenal, man, I think that and Van Persie absolutely killed me. So I always wanted to keep Sanchez, but I think I knew one of them was going to leave, and I wish it was Ozil. But unfortunately, it wasn't. It was Sanchez that had to leave. But then the reason why, right, the club, I think the reason why we gave Özil 350 grand a week is because I think the club was ultimately scared to lose both of them at that time in January, or maybe at the end of the season. And they knew how fans would absolutely backfire on that, to say we've just lost our two best players in the space of 1 month in a window, which then I think ultimately just showed, okay, if we can't tie down Sanchez and he's off, everything that we was going to give, we just put it all into Özil. And I think giving him 350 grand a week was absolutely nonsense. At the time, wasn't he the most highest paid player in the league after Sanchez when he went to Manchester United for 350 grand a week? So that was a bit mad for me, but yeah.
Callum, Sanchez, Ozil, did you want both of them to stay? Did you want both of them to leave?
I wanted Sanchez. I wanted to get rid of Ozil. I wanted to get rid of Ozil and keep Sanchez, because Sanchez was the player that, if we kept him, I reckon we would have pushed. Imagine with him with Aubameyang or, oh Jesus, I can't even think. I miss that guy. I don't blame him for going Man United. You know, fair enough, it didn't work out for him there, but we wasn't going nowhere. I don't blame any of these players anymore. I don't blame them for leaving and going to rival clubs, because they want to win stuff. We wasn't winning stuff. We didn't show an ambition. So I want Sanchez. I would have him back now. I would have him back right now. Fair enough, he's not as maybe, but I'll still have him back, because he will still do a job in his team. Do you know what I mean? He will still do a job. Yeah. So I'll 100% Sanchez, 150%.
Zone?
Yeah, I think I have to agree with that. I mean, sure, we needed to build around Ozil, and that didn't happen. But I think when it didn't happen, that was the boat. It wasn't going to happen for a long time. And at that point, we needed players with grit and determination. You know, pure passion, no matter what's happening. I mean, Alexis Sanchez used to play with such passion. He'd shout at his own teammates, and he didn't care how it made them look. Why aren't you pressing with me? You know, why aren't you marking? Or why wasn't it a better pass? It's because that was the level of quality that played around him. That's why I go back to, no matter how much, no matter which player we sold, it wouldn't have mattered, because it didn't matter. We still struggled, even with Sanchez. We still struggled. So, but at the same time, Alexis Sanchez, yeah, it has to be him, man. I mean, that guy turned up for us in the biggest way. He wasn't the biggest signing at the time, you know, for different reasons for Arsenal in the recent years, but he turned up for us in ways that you just kind of expected it, you know. He bossed it. He literally bossed games, and in big games as well, lesser games, it didn't matter. He was the man. So yeah, man, definitely Alexis Sanchez.
Another question to you. So after Sanchez left, were you one of those guys who were like, I don't care if Ozil leaves? Or you like, I don't care how much he wants, just give it to him. I want Ozil to stay.
I was actually one of the guys that thought we could replace him.
Mm.
because I thought we missed the boat with him, and he wasn't gonna get any better. I mean, I remember. This is why I told you, Callum. I agree with you to a larger extent. I don't disagree with you too much. There was times he was so frustrating, not just about the big game performances, but you wouldn't see him dribble past any players anymore. You'd see him run the ball out in a very Theo Walcott like kind of way.
Yeah.
And you just wonder, does he even have a right foot at some point? And it, he became individually frustrating. He wouldn't just ghost because in big games because the other players around him weren't good enough. Nah, sometimes it was largely down to him. And yeah, man, I think Alexis Sanchez was our best signing in those recent years. I just go back to that.
No.
Sorry.
I go as far as saying, since the Premier League started, I still believe Sanchez is in our top 10 best players. I'm sorry. I know we've
top
had a
10.
lot of good players in those 30 years, but I think he's in our top 10. I did a video I think 9 months ago or something, and I did say that people are like, why can't Vieira? Why are you including Sanchez? I was like, they all are there. Because I remember in their away games, like against West Ham, against Leicester, against Stoke City, we only beat these teams because we had Sanchez, the likes of Watford away. After he left, we've never ever beaten Leicester away from home. We've struggled against Watford away from home. West Ham has always been a problem, so I think he's one of the better players. So when he signed for us, after a few months, he won the World Cup, and I still remember that game against Brazil 7-1. He was very good. Him, Khedira, Muller, they were very good in that game, and probably the main reason they say is because they have good defenders behind them. Do you think that affected him at Arsenal? Did he not have good midfielders like in Germany?
I do, because when he plays for Germany and he's got better players than what we had, he looks like a level probably above most of them, or on the top players of all of them. And that just shows, if you put the right players around him and maybe play him in the right system, the guy is unplayable at times. Do you know what I mean? And then he comes back to Arsenal and then he doesn't perform. Everyone's on his back again. So it's annoying. It is annoying.
Callum, do you think we didn't give him what he wanted, like a good midfield, a good backup behind him?
I don't believe. I just believe he's the type of obviously the first couple of years he was good, but he always needs these players around him. We've always said this. Maybe he's just not good enough. That's simple as that. Maybe he's just not good enough anymore. He hasn't been good enough for years and years. But us fans, we want him to do well. Well, I wanted to do well at one point. You know what I mean? I wanted him to do well. And I always said we need the striker. We need this. We need that. Do you know what I mean? And fair enough, eventually we get these players, but he still don't perform. So there comes to a point when I just say he's not good enough. Get rid of him because he's not good enough. If he's taking money out of this club, you know what I mean, holding them ransom, this club. That's why I feel like holding us ransom, and he don't perform on the pitch. You should leave. A lot of these players should leave. That they do this. They don't perform, and he's the main one that needs to go. And then eventually, we need to get rid of all of them that do this. All of them that leech off this club that are not good enough. Get rid of them. So Ozil is the one, and get rid of him. I don't want him. I don't want him.
So Zohom, a couple of stats. I don't own that picture. I found it on Twitter, so I think it's from Opta. So assists from 2010 to 2019, Lionel Messi 136, Di Maria 108, Ozil 106 in the top three, Muller 103. I think Muller is an incredible player. He doesn't play that swagger, but in terms of goals and assists, wow. Ronaldo 95, David Silva 94. So what do you think of those stats there?
That's the sad part, man. You see these stats, and yeah, at some point the stats lied, because I remember how he was on the pitch. But
yeah,
I mean, we talk about his World Cup performances. I just can't. I can't choose a stance on this, because I wonder how much international football can be compared to Premier League football, and I just think he was waning, like I said. So the stats don't lie, he was world class. You can't argue with them. But man, I know he had a great World Cup and whatnot, but I just think at that point, even when he did win the World Cup, he wasn't as good as people make him out to be. I mean, people talk about him like he was Dennis Bergkamp, and Dennis Bergkamp was an absolute genius with effort. So it's yeah, I agree with Callum. He does need to leave. His departure signals a new era for me. So he needs to leave. Whatever you feel about it, if you're emotional, if you're angry about him, if you support him, whatever you think about what he's done to the club, at least it signals a new era. Because whoever thinks that he can just be brought back
No way.
and continue playing, someone who hasn't played for months, someone who's already in decline, he only assisted Aubameyang once. I mean, I get it. Xhaka and Dani Ceballos aren't the best midfielders around, but seriously, only one assist to Aubameyang?
Is that seriously?
I mean,
is that actually a thing?
I think I read that. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's two assists in the last season. Last season he recorded 2 assists. He had more than 15 starts. It's just not good enough, man. I mean, he's not the player that you guys fantasize, his supporters fantasize he will be if we bring him back. It's not as simple as that. So, man.
Javi, that's next question is yours. So what's Zuhuma said right now, and what Nat is asking, what do you think of Ozil the next few days? So Javi, would you bring Ozil back to the team to end on a high, or would you just get rid of him right now?
No. Zuhum just said it. He just said that the club's going into a new era now. We've got loads of young players in the squad: Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Saka. And I want to start building teams around these young players because they're the future of Arsenal Football Club. And let's not put 32-year-olds who aren't even probably top 10 best players in his position in the league, and let's start focusing on the young players and try and get them better. So for me, I'm sad the way how it's left and how he's left and how it's been, but I don't think he's got any way back in this squad anymore, especially since Emil Smith Rowe is playing in that number 10 and showing what a number 10 does.
Yeah, Javi will come back to you, and Callum will come back to you. And another question, Zoo wanted you to take this question. Is it the reason why we won most of those FA Cups, or do you think it was Sanchez?
No, I mean, we can't suggest it was Sanchez. I mean, we won some FA Cups with Ozil, and what he brought out of guys like Ramsey and Cazorla, Giroud, we scored. I mean, Welbeck, insane. And I think he was pivotal. I don't think we'd win those FA Cups if Ozil wasn't playing. If we put Alex Iwobi, for example, who, with all due respect, I just never rated. So yeah, I don't know. I think he was for the most part. But for example, like last season's FA Cup, he didn't play a part, did he? So so I mean, I think that's where I stand. It's so hard. It's so hard for me because I love beautiful players, and that's why I supported Arsenal, man, because we had beautiful football. So he was supposed to represent that, and for whatever reason it failed. It's just very sad.
Yeah, so Callum, if Ozil wasn't there, would we have won that FA Cup in 2014 and 2015?
I believe so. I believe we could have won them easily. Do you know what I mean? We had decent players back then. I think in our midfield we had Sanchez, we had Ramsey. You know what I mean? Didn't Sanogo set up Ramsey's goal? I'm in the first one. I swear he did. I'm pretty sure. Oh, it was Sanogo, innit?
I think it was Giroud. It was Giroud.
Giroud.
Too much praise for Sanogo. He wasn't that good.
You have to give him credit.
For that four goals.
But I believe honestly he didn't do much in these games in the finals anyway. I don't remember him. Did he register an assist in the first final? I don't think he did. In the second final, I don't think he did. So
I remember the games that he did well. There was one against Brighton. I think it was like in the 4th round of 2015. He played very well with Rosicky. I think there was one quarterfinal with Everton or Liverpool in one of those FA Cups that he played well. So he helped us in that journey. Zoom, do you think Giroud kind of let him down? Because I think Giroud would have had like 400 goals for Arsenal if he converted all those chances.
I mean, that's the thing with Giroud, man. He was so frustrating. Like you guys always see those memes, right? Or those vines. If Giroud scored, if his grandchildren, if his grandchildren see his highlight reels, they think he's a god in football, you know. But he was very frustrating. He used to miss his chances, man, and I think he was definitely let down by Giroud. I mean, definitely let down. I remember so many times Giroud would show such clever movement to get into brilliant positions, but then his finishing and there was just a real lack of quality in his ruthlessness and just how clinical he was. So, yeah, man, Giroud definitely let him down.
Have we? Giroud let him down. Would we have won the league if we had Aubameyang in 2016?
For sure.
You know what, right? You see with Ozil, okay? Most of them chances that he put through Giroud to get assists, they're little flick-ons. And, you know, where Giroud gets to the front post and flicks it in. I don't actually remember Giroud probably scoring a proper goal where Ozil has assisted him. So I think you can hold it in both ways. If Giroud let him down or Ozil maybe just didn't give him enough chances. But ultimately, I'm leaning more on like Giroud let him down because he went 13 games without scoring a goal. And if you're starting for a team who are trying to challenge for titles and you've not scored in 13 games in the league, you're not good enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true. Colin?
At that point, I think he did let Ozil down because I think Ozil was pretty good in that season. You know, he was assisting a lot. He was getting it through to Giroud, and he was not as good at finishing as he is now anyway. So I would love if we had Aubameyang then. Geez, we would have won the league. I think if we had Aubameyang that time, we would have won the league. We just got him at a time when, you know, I mean, fair enough, he's been banging the last 2 seasons, but before, not this season. But I would have loved him then. But yeah, he did let him down, I think, honestly.
Can I just add on to Harvey's point?
Yeah.
I think you're right. I do remember a lot of chances that Mesut Ozil created, being referred to as key chances, but I always thought there were some chances that Arsenal missed that were just very difficult to score. However, I still stand by what I say. Giroud missed gilt-edged chances. I watched a very long video on YouTube just to kind of jog my memory, and the amount of great chances I saw Mesut Ozil create and us miss were shocking, and it was just so frustrating to watch that video. But at the same time, I don't know, man. It's just Giroud shows he's almost aged like fine wine, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has 100%.
He has, yeah, and it's just so interesting to see. But at the same time, even when he starts, he can go missing for Chelsea. He can frustrate them. I mean, I think most Chelsea fans would agree he's great coming off the bench. I wish there was a way we could have gotten Aubameyang without having to start some merry-go-round to you know what I mean? Like eventually let go of Giroud, then Chelsea let go of Michy Batshuayi. I wish we could have just kept them because Giroud would have been perfect to complement someone like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Even if he doesn't start, he comes off the bench. He would have made an impact, and I think he would have been happy in that role if we were still challenging for the league. So, yeah, man, Giroud is another frustrating player, and I think he let us down as well.
Okay, so Aaron has put in the chat about 10 times. He really wants us to know. So to avoid the spam, let me just read his comments. Mesut Ozil is the only player in history who has been top assist provider in the Premier League, Bundesliga, La Liga, Champions League, Europa League, World Cup, and Euro Cup. Harvey, I don't know if it's true, but is he that good? Was he that good?
As Zoom said, sometimes stats lie. Because, yeah, you can look at all this, oh my God, Mesut Ozil, top assister. But his performances weren't ever, amazing. Like, obviously he had amazing performances sometimes, but it was never on a consistent basis. So I can't see how you're going to, say, oh, he was this good, he assisted all these, but then he wasn't doing it consistently. Yeah, he might have done it in different seasons, and maybe that's true or false. I've not seen that stat, but he didn't do it, in a whole game. Maybe he might have one chance every 3 games where he done it. He didn't show any fight for our club since the first day he's been here. So I'm not really agreeing with that stat.
Zoom, you want to say something?
Yeah, I think I really got to watch him. I really got to watch him, and it's really weird because I don't watch much La Liga and whatnot, but I have a Muslim dad, so he was very proud of how Mesut Ozil was playing in Europe. Muslims have this thing. We're very, very proud of our players, and it's nice to see. But at the same time, that's the only reason I watched him. So I checked out his highlights, and I started watching more of his games in La Liga. And honestly, I was so disappointed because with what we ended up with, because this guy was an absolute baller. You could make those videos of the streets will never forget. That's how disgusting this guy was in La Liga and the Bundesliga. He was beautiful to watch, man. Nutmegs, flicks over the head, back heels. It was a shot against Barcelona he took from freaking 35 yards out and he hit the crossbar. I mean, he was absolutely disgusting. I don't care about how the Premier League is hard. I mean, if you could do those things in La Liga, you have a very good chance of being able to do that in the Premier League as well. So he was a bowler, but what we ended up with was just some passer, not even a dribbler that could make the difference. I thought he was both. And, when push came to shove, we have now, as a result, we have, rightfully so, very angry fans okay, I wouldn't say very angry, but frustrated fans like Callum and Harvey. So it makes sense.
Okay, so I wanted to come to you. Let me read this comment from Jamar. It won't pop up on StreamYard because of the language. He says, you people talk too much. Me, Glenn, Zuhom, Harvey, Callum, we talk too much. Why complaining those players aren't being used? I think he's talking about Ozil. It's obvious Saliba need back some game time in which he is getting now, and Kolasinac ain't. Yeah, so we'll come back to that comment about Saliba and Kolasinac later. But last question on Ozil, Callum. So clearly he has some fans at Arsenal still. So was he unfairly treated in the last 2 years?
I don't believe so. I believe he was rightly, the criticism he's getting is right. He should get this criticism. He should. Do you know what I mean? He shouldn't. I don't know why people have fanboy over him. Do you know what I mean? Fanboy or go over him, because I believe he's a player. He plays for Arsenal. Arsenal are one of the biggest clubs in the world. It's not Ozil FC, it's Arsenal FC. And I don't care for any player. If you perform on a pitch and you do well for our team and you win, then I'm gonna love you, of course. But if you're taking the mick and you're not performing on the pitch for my club, I don't care what you've done at Real Madrid or bloody Schalke or wherever you've been. I care what you've done for us, and he hasn't done it for us. So that's why I don't. When people throw these assist stats in my face, I say, "What's he done for us? Oh, he's done this." But assists are very. You could have a corner. You take a corner and we score from a corner. That's an assist. You pass to a player and he gets through and scores. Like you've just passed him next to him and he goes and scores. That's an assist. Do you know, it doesn't take much for an assist. Do you understand? So I don't believe in those stats. I believe he hasn't done much. Maybe 2016 that's probably his best season he's had for us. But other than that, he's done in them 8 years. What has he really done to show for us? So Sanchez, I can say he had the grit. He pulled the team. You know what I mean? When we needed someone, he was like our Henry for that time. When Henry was there, Henry would score a goal when we needed it. Sanchez, that's what he was at. What was Ozil? I never relied on Ozil. If we're not performing, he's not performing. That's how it works with Ozil. If we're not performing, he will not perform. He won't be the one to, you know what I mean? He wouldn't do it. So, good riddance, as I said again. Get him out of
it. Clearly, Callum does not enjoy the assists. Clearly, Callum, in his short career as a footballer, he has more than 800 assists. It's too easy. Passing to the players next is so easy. So, was he unfairly treated? Your mic is muted.
Yeah, I believe he was, especially this season. Arteta tried to come out and say it's, mainly football based, but I'm not sure if it is. If he come out and, he's trying to, respect like his culture and stuff, all by means he's allowed to do that, freedom of speech. So if it's anything due to like the club, how he's cost the club money or anything, I think that's absolutely disgraceful from the club. Other than that, though, if it's a footballing side, I can kind of see why, because I can't really remember Özil going, oh my God, that's the Özil that we remember. That's one we saw at Real Madrid in the last 2-3 years. And if you're not performing, then you don't deserve to play. Like Aubameyang, I think he's our best player on his day. Like he's our captain and stuff. But if Aubameyang's not performing, so he doesn't deserve to play, and that's why I think Özil, if you don't perform, you don't play. 350 grand a week. Also, sorry, can I just say one thing? With Özil, right, he reminds me of a luxury player. Like, with Arsenal, we're a team, right, that are going to have to sometimes battle for wins. If he's at a team like a Man City, where, they have majority of the ball, he can dictate stuff. That's when I think you will see, oh my God, Özil's that good. But in a team like Arsenal, what the current state we was in when he was here, I think he's not the player that we needed at our current time.
Awesome. WSL says Ozil is one of the most overrated players the Premier League has ever seen. Assists mean nothing, just as Callum said. When we won nothing with him, I'm glad Ozil is going and he's not considered a legend of our club. Biden says the guy earns 350k a week and don't even show on the pitch. Suprit says, Mr. Positive, stop behaving like an ungrateful person, respect the contribution of Ozil. Anything to say about that?
Well, you gotta honestly see what he is. You see what he obviously he's gonna leave, and you're gonna say, oh, he was treated badly. No, he wasn't good enough. He wasn't good enough like a lot of these players. Do you know what I mean? Overrated. He is one of the most overrated players in the Premier League because our fans hype him up like he's the next coming of Bergkamp. A lot of our fans do that. We were the next coming of Bergkamp. We've even got a song saying he's related, he's like Bergkamp. You know what I mean? We've got a song. And we've sung it. We've sung it in stadiums. I've sung it years and years and years ago. Do you know what I mean? But I saw what he is. You know what I mean? I can see what a lot of these players are. I see what they are. And they're the type of players that are bringing our club down where we are right now. This is why we're in the gutter where we are. Because of players like him. So that's what I believe.
Lanchal says Ozil was the realest in Europe. Then he came to Arsenal where our players were not of the same level, and management was crap. Wenger in his last 8 years was woeful, clueless. Emery now Arteta. Jeez. So Zoom, you'll take the final answer again. Was he unfairly treated at Arsenal?
It's a difficult one to take a stance on as well, because we don't know what's happened at the club. I mean, there's suggestions, and there's a lot of suggestions that's, Mesut Ozil is being hounded out of the club like this because of his comments about the Uyghur Muslims in China. But I mean, he still played after those comments. He still played for 10 straight games until March, and he was even named on the bench when we got back to football in, was it June, July? Yeah, can't remember.
June.
Yeah, June. Yeah, and he was even on the bench, and I just don't know what to say if he was treated unfairly. I think I agree. He shouldn't have ever been given that 350k a week contract. He never deserved it. Goal scorers who do it season in, season out deserve something close to that, but certainly not players who were waning like Mesut Ozil was, despite how good he was in creating chances. I think he has leached off the club, in my opinion. There's times we've needed him and he didn't show up, and even after the Uyghur Muslim comments, I mean, you can tell from his tweets he's just taking the piss. Excuse my language, but he really is. You can see how polarizing those tweets and posts can be, and I think they're quite targeted. So I don't think anybody's got their hands clean in this whole thing.
So
I think
this comment is directed to you. He does not agree with you. He says he did deserve it.
Nah, I don't know if he deserved it. I don't know if that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody's got their hands dirty in this whole situation. It's down to the previous executive board. It's down to the owners themselves. It's down to Arsene Wenger as well. Like, a lot of people have got their hands dirty on this, and it doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't take away anything about the club that I love. It doesn't take away anything about Arsene Wenger as a man, how he got him that contract. It doesn't take anything away from Mesut Ozil, the player, but it certainly left a sour or bitter taste in people's mouths, and I can completely understand the frustration of guys like Callum and Harvey and some of the members watching today. So, but that's why I keep saying, like, at this point, it's fine. Everything's happened, and he's about to leave. Let's just move on.
So it wasn't always doom and gloom with Ozil. We did have a couple of good moments just to cheer everyone up. It's getting a bit tensy and tension, a lot of tension around. So we'll start with you, Harvey. What was your best moment with Ozil in an Arsenal shirt?
Can you come back to me, because I'm just trying to think of this one.
Okay, to let everyone think about it, I'll probably go first. I'll say, obviously it has to be the Ludogorets one. It has to be. I mean, it has to be that. The way he took the ball, that I think we were having a tough game. I think it was like 1-1 or something. It was a very, very tough game. The genius of him to take that ball and dribble. Everyone was screaming, shoot the ball, what are you doing? And then dribbling and coming back to it again. Such quality. That showed us what we had, and absolute quality. Callum?
I was going to say exactly the same moment. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Like, for me, I think that was his best moment. I haven't seen him do anything like that through his whole Arsenal career, really, where he's ripped 3 or 4 players, ripped the goalkeeper, and then just slotted it in, just took the mix. So I think that is his best moment in an Arsenal shirt. Sad to say against Ludogorets, but,
Yeah, people in the chat, let me know what your favorite Ozil moment was. So,
I think, I agree with you guys. I just want to comment about that. I think that goal epitomizes what he was about. He was supposed to be that kind of player. You could always see, and I think a lot of you will remember, Arsene Wenger used to ask for more goals from him because he knew he could do this at a high level, and he knew if Ozil really applied himself, would have done this more consistently. But that's the thing with artists, right? You don't know how they work. They have their own processes, creative processes, and some of them are lazy. And it's just, I think, like I said, it epitomizes our time with him, because we had these flashes of absolute brilliance, but not enough times, and that's the difference. I think we could probably do some notable moments. I'd be very interested to hear some notable moments from his career, if you don't mind us going on a tangent like that.
Yeah, I was remembering one. There was a pass to Kolasinac. I think it was like 2 years ago. There was a pass to Kolasinac where he hit it, and Kolasinac was running on the left, and then he crossed it to Aubameyang to finish. Such moments. Montreal. No, it was. I don't actually remember. No, the Montreal one was against Swansea. No, the Montreal one was against Swansea, but against Burnley it was Kolasinac. Yeah, but both were very, very good passes. So have you had time to think about it? I hope you've come up with 10 different moments. I don't know if there are that many, but yeah, any of them?
Probably just the Ludogorets for me. I was thinking about that one, but then to see that club together, it's going to be Ludogorets. If not, then probably just when he was in the 2017 FA Cup when we beat Chelsea. But then he had a chance to kill the game against Chelsea in the FA Cup. Imagine if Chelsea went on to score. Do you remember, right? He picked up around the centre of the pitch. He ran. He could have taken a shot on his right foot. Instead, he cut back and then tried to go for the keeper's near post and hit the post. Imagine if Chelsea went on to score that. Oh, my God. We would have hit the last of it, but yeah.
Ray in the chat says, for me, Ozil best moment 3-1 at home to Leicester 2 years ago. So that game, was it that is his best game at Arsenal?
No, I don't think it was his best game at Arsenal. I think that was his most beautiful game at Arsenal. I think, I mean, that was one of his most beautiful moments in his career, let alone Arsenal, in my opinion. The way he glided, you know, he just kind of moved on a cloud. I mean, come on, he was beautiful. I love Dennis Bergkamp, but that was also beautiful to watch, Callum. And you see me targeting you, right? So, but I think Harvey's being a little harsh. I mean, come on, Harvey, you don't remember some of the goals that he scored? For example, the Napoli goal in the Champions League, that side foot finish.
Oh, I remember
I mean, that was beautiful. Yeah, I think there was a really nice moment versus Liverpool. Just when Jurgen Klopp had joined, he dinked it with that style he has over Simon Mignolet. Yeah,
that one. I think he's speaking about that one.
Yeah, that's the one exactly. And then, come on, are we all ignoring the 3-0 performance versus Manchester United with Alexis, Sanchez, and Theo Walcott? Amazing.
The free kick against Liverpool, I think we won 4-1.
There was also the free kick. Yeah, but I mean, even the Manchester United one. Remember how well we played in that first half? Yeah, that was fantastic. So
I thought we'd get 8 goals. I thought we'd get our 8 goals back on that day. Yeah, it was 3 goals the first 19. I was so happy. So people agree. There's that Napoli goal on his debut in the Champions League.
I think that whole game, to be honest, that whole Napoli game. I think he was class in that game. I remember him. He was like just ripping everyone. I was like, I think that's actually his best game. Now I think about it. Now it's coming back to me because he looked graceful. He looked like a majestic creature, you know, on that pitch.
Yeah, he did, honestly.
He looked unplayable. And that's the type of player like we should have got. He should have played like that more often because he would have been a legend at our club if he played like that majority of the time. But he just didn't. It got me excited, and I just remember it was a really good game.
WSL is not having it. He's saying my favorite moment is when he leaves. He's not having it. Ain't right about that. I don't think there's a reason to hate Ozil. He's not a Van Persie or a Nasri or something like that. I don't think he's that bad of a person like the likes of Adebayo.
Yeah, can I just add on to that?
Yeah.
I think Santi Cazorla isn't any more of a legend than Mesut Ozil is.
I don't think Santi is a legend though.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think he's more of a legend. I know there's like politics and there's a lot of stuff that happened behind, closed doors, but Santi Cazorla was you could criticize him as well. I mean, I think it goes down to the team, Arsene Wenger, and all that mashed up together. So, yeah, I think. Do you agree with that, Callum? Do you think Santi Cazorla isn't more of a legend than Mesut Ozil?
I think he's way more of a legend than Ozil. For me, every time I think of Santi Cazorla, I think of great moments. I can't think of a negative thing about Santi. That's the thing. When I go back, it's like Sanchez. These players, I can't think a really negative person. I just think of them being class. Me being wowed by them when I watch them. Me going, what? How'd he done that? When we were playing Chelsea, I think Santi went in and out of 4 players. Or City. No, it was City, sorry. And it was when Lampard joined them, and he just ripped their midfield. That it was nothing, Santi. And but with Ozil, I look back at his career at Arsenal, and I think of negatives. I think of him missing. I think of negative things because he was a negative type of player. He just didn't show up ever. Santi was the one for me. He's the closest thing to a legend. Him and Sanchi from this era, from the last decade, from when we got rid of the Henrys and Vieiras, etc. I think Sanchez and Santi are up there, the closest to legends that we can get. I think so. Anyway.
So Omar, the last question on Ozil before we talk a little about the Saliba a bit. So Mesut Ozil, I can hear an echo. Just check your mic. I think Callum. So Mesut Ozil linked to Fenerbahçe and linked to DC United. One of them, if you were Mesut Ozil to the home, which team would you join? I mean, DC United have given him a very good package. I think they're going to pay him like similar wages. They're going to help him distribute. I think it's his clothing line or something. They're going to have like a brand selling coffee in his name in the stadium. I mean, which one would you go
It's
to?
actually his coffee brand. It's actually
That doesn't
his
surprise
coffee
me.
brand.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Ozil.
Which one would you go to?
I mean, I think I'd still go Turkey. You know, Turkey, Fenerbahçe. I mean, that's a better league than America, especially with the rivalry they have there with Galatasaray. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's crazy. You all know about their ultras, and you know it's not a bad deal as well if he goes to Fenerbahçe. Apparently, I mean, 2.5 million euro signing on fee with a 5 million euro annual salary. Apparently, he has a house there. You know, I mean, he's Turkish originally. He's Turkish, but maybe it would be better for his family and whatnot. I don't know, man. I mean, wherever he goes, he's coming out of this happy. I really don't think he's gonna lose that much sleep over how it ended at Arsenal.
No way.
Harvey, would you JJ?
Depends. You know what? Because he you know, is Turkish, as Zuhum just said. So I think Turkey would probably be a better fit for him. You know, I swear he's like friends with the Fenerbahçe like owner or something like that. So I could probably see him leaning more towards Turkey. But then, if money talks, do you know what I mean? If DC United are willing to pay him some serious money, then he probably will go to DC. But I'm not really sure. To be honest, as long as he's leaving, I'm happy.
Callum, if you're Ozil, where would you go?
I think he'll go Fenerbahçe. Obviously, his parents are Turkish or something like that. I think, but also his missus, she's Mrs. Turkey. You know, she won the beauty thing for, you know what I mean, Turkey. So
the beauty pageant.
Beauty pageant.
Only Arsenal. Only Arsenal fans know this kind of news, like, because we are so involved in everyone's life.
But I think he'll go there. It doesn't surprise me he's got coffee brand. It doesn't surprise me he's got an EA team for Fortnite. It doesn't surprise me he's got all these things. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't surprise me with Ozil. So he'll go Fenerbahçe where he's loved. You know, I'm sure the people, you know, in Fenerbahçe.
But
and
if your name was Mesut Ozil, where would you go?
Fenerbahçe, because of all the things that got in common with that club. You know.
Okay, so I just want yes or no. No explanation for this couple of questions. Just yes or no. Zoom, I'll start with you. Is Mesut Ozil an Arsenal legend? Yes or no?
Yes.
Harvey?
No.
Callum?
No.
Zoom, did he deserve much better at Arsenal?
Yes.
Harvey?
Yes.
Callum?
You say he deserved much better at Arsenal?
Yeah.
No. No.
And then last one, would you play him between now and the end of the season, Zoom?
No. Hell no.
Harvey?
Yes.
Callum?
I probably contradicted myself, but yes.
Callum?
No.
I can see a lot of no's in the chat. So he's not the only one who's probably going to leave. There's another one who's already left, of course. The guy who protected him at Arsenal, said Kolasinac. I talked briefly to Javi and Callum last time about Kolasinac. So Zuhum, Kolasinac, what about him? Did he not have the best of positions at Arsenal? Was he really that bad, or are we really accusing him of everything that happened at Arsenal, like Mustafi?
No, I think he's just like Mustafi, bro. This isn't a yes or no thing, so yeah. He was just like Mustafi, bro. At some point last season, his pass success rate with a decent sample size of games was 63%. What in the world? How is that even supposed to work? You're supposed to be a passing team. If you can't complete like close to 80% of your passes, what are we doing? You know what I mean? It's like telling me Stoke, you know, it's like telling Stoke, sign Emmanuel Eboué. He's really bad at defending. It makes no sense. They wouldn't sign him. Very, very poor. And in my opinion, I just think he was so disappointing so many times because you'd see a lot of energy, man. This guy would be put in so many good positions. And all of a sudden, the guy is tripping over himself. I've seen him do it more than twice. I mean, just find someone. And even when he manages to stay on his feet, like, well done, bro. He still doesn't find an Arsenal player. I was actually kind of concerned when we were putting a lot of crosses in and Kieran Tierney
Yeah.
wasn't finding anyone just recently. I was a little concerned, but obviously the system wasn't right. But I was like, oh no, not Scottish seadkolasinac, please, dear God, no. Remember when he fell over himself? But obviously that was just Bans. I love the guy. I love everything. I love everything that he stands for. But that's obviously different. But seadkolasinac, nah, man. We were told this man was Bundesliga left wing back of the season. That's what tells me, like, just because you made it Bundesliga doesn't mean you're gonna be all that in the Premier League. So even like, Jadon Sancho, for example, is a different case. But I think most of the time it takes time to come in from the Bundesliga, and I think that's what happens to Sead Kolasinac. Our recruitment was horrible.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
was Arsene
clearly.
Wenger time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
clearly, Kolasinac didn't like what I asked about him. He took me out of my own stream. Harvey, Kolasinac, are we being too unfair on him?
No, he's awful. No, we've not been unfair on him. He's not good enough to play for Arsenal. His most memorable moment at Arsenal is something that he done off the pitch, protecting Özil. Like, other than that, the guy, he's not good enough. I'm happy he's off. His contract run. Wait, does his contract run out in summer as well? Right?
Yeah, I don't
So
even care anyway.
he's gone to Schalke, which therefore means that's till the end of the season. So Kolasinac is officially done with Arsenal. He's not good enough. Thanks for your service. Bye.
Callum, was Monreal better than him?
Way better. 20 times better.
Yeah.
Jesus. Anyone's better
On
than
what?
Kolasinac.
In what?
Monreal was our most
Attacking,
No,
defending?
in consistency. Monreal was very consistent. He was one of our most consistent players for years. He would always play at the same level. You know what you're getting with Monreal. You know what I mean? He was a good player. He was a decent player. He wasn't the best. He wasn't the worst. But he just was consistent. And that's what I liked about Monreal. You know what I mean? I like that about him a lot. It's polar opposite to what Kolasinac is, because I don't know what he is. He's the worst left back I've seen at this club. He's close to Santos, in my opinion. I mean, Santos was terrible. But I think he's up there with him because he.
Oh, come on, Zoho. Come on. Was it that bad?
I don't think. No, he said he was the worst. I think Andre Santos was the worst left back we've ever seen. I remember Andre Santos kicking the ball midair from left back over the whole both teams onto right back, and I just thought to myself, this man is actually crazy. You know what I mean? He's actually mental. How the hell are you doing? What is this, Sunday League? You know what I mean? Like, that's mad. You can't just be doing that. This is the Premier League, bro. Why are you taking such dumb risks? Anyway, but said Kolasinac has been poor, man. I mean, yeah, I'm just happy. I'm just happy he's gone. I don't think he leaves at the end of the summer, so I think we might have to deal with that in the summer. I think his contract ends next. Or am I mistaken?
It's the end of the season. Yeah.
It's end of the season. Okay, yeah. Then, well,
yeah,
mean, yeah, it's good for everyone, in my opinion. It's good for everyone. I just wonder if we're a bit light at left wing back now. But I mean, if we need him, Bossman Bukayo Saka, we're good, bro. If we need him, if we need him, we're good.
So you've already answered my question. Javi, are you happy he left?
I would probably strengthen with another left back, because I just think Saka, when he's playing there, just takes away a lot of creativity that he offers. So Saka, I like playing him more forward in the attacking three. So I'll probably go and sign a backup left back.
Callum, are you happy he left?
I'm very happy he's left. Like I said, he's the type of player that we need. We need to get rid of these deadwood crap rubbish players. Do you know what I mean? They're not Arsenal. They're not Brighton quality. They're not bloody Sheffield United.
Exactly.
Quality. Do you know what I mean? So if they're not their quality, how are they playing for Arsenal Football Club? fair enough. Like we're in the gutter right now, but we are the biggest club, one of the big clubs in the world. We're supported all around the world, and we're watching Kolasinac at one point playing week in, week out. And I'm like, what am I watching here? Do you know what I mean? I'm so happy he's gone, you know.
That's a very good point. Can I just add on to that? If you remember, when we were supposed to sell Xhaka before Mikel Arteta joined, the only team that actually wanted him was some Bundesliga team for £18 million.
That doesn't surprise me either.
I mean, obviously, it's ridiculous. So you're right. He represents all these players that somehow made it to Arsenal, and nobody ever wanted them in the Premier League. Nobody wants them now. It's ridiculous.
Also, I mean, what I'm going to say on that is we need to stop selling our legends. Van Persie, Sanchez, Kolasinac, it needs to stop. So, Javi, I'll give you the last point before I let you go. The last one is going to be Saliba. What have you made of his time at Arsenal that he's not even played? Did he deserve to stay and play, or are you happy with the loan?
I think he deserved to at least have a try, maybe Carabao Cup, Europa League, because at certain points, he couldn't have been worse than what we were seeing from Rob Holding. So, maybe him and Gabriel next to each other. I wanted to see it. It was something that I'm a bit gutted that we didn't get to see. But I'm, happy that he's out on loan. He's gone back to his home country. And for one, what even makes me more happy is that it's just a normal loan, no obligation to buy, no option to buy. So we know he's coming back to Arsenal.
Okay, so that game you're seeing on screen yesterday was from yesterday.
Yeah, I know, he was bad.
Yeah, and he was bad. He picked up a yellow card, I think, in the first 9 minutes, and probably the reason is because that the whole team wasn't that good. But yeah, he picked up a yellow card, the first yellow card within 9 minutes of his debut, the first yellow card of the game. So do you care much about that, or are you just like he's still a good player? It's just a bad game.
Listen, guys, I'm getting really, really tired of the hype on William Saliba. I think he had a really decent run of form, but why are we now trusting the judgment of Raul Sanllehi and Demlot when clearly we have been complaining about our signings in recent times? I have to trust. We said we'd back the manager, so I have to wait and trust that Mikel Arteta, Edu and them know football and know what we need and realize that there was something lacking. You guys are complaining about William Saliba, you're complaining about Mustafi, you're complaining about Granit Xhaka, but at the same time, William Saliba is being brought on, and you've never seen nothing of him, and then there's serious. Apparently, his mum died. Those are serious personal issues that can be the difference maker in someone's career. They can be the end of someone's career. You heard I think everybody's seen the interview with Carlos Vinicius, the Spurs striker, the Brazilian Spurs striker, talking to Lucas Moura, and he said, when my mom passed away, I almost quit football, man. It was that bad. So I just struggle to see how good the circumstances were for him to actually come in. I have to trust. This guy brought in Gabriel. He said William Saliba's not ready. What is ready is Gabriel. Think about that. Edu is in charge of our football. And we're all lauding the Gabriel signing. That's something. He also brought in Willian. Of course, that's an issue. But more importantly, he brought in Gabriel Martinelli. And there's going to be some decisions that these guys are going to make that they might not get right. That's fine. But overall, in my opinion, when I think about the previous regime in context of this current regime, I feel like we're in safe hands as we go along. These guys are learning as they go along, but they have the right idea of football. And you look at Gabriel, I think that just speaks to it. You look at freaking, Martinelli, that speaks to it. Thomas Partey, that speaks to it. Renarson, not so much. But, they're going to get some wrong. That's simple as. Every regime has gotten players wrong. Sir Alex Ferguson, has gotten many players wrong. Arsene Wenger has gotten many players wrong. But you have to trust that they're going to get things right sooner rather than later. And I think, like I said, with all these outgoings, I'm getting a bit encouraged that
Were you,
we're headed in the right direction. Yeah, I am.
were you about to say Alex Ranason?
Yeah, I was. I mean, Renarson doesn't count.
I just figured out it kind of rhymes with Alex Ferguson, so yeah, maybe. But in
Fair
terms of quality, very, very fast. So, Callum, last one on Saliba.
I think a lot of us fans, including me, at one point, I wanted him to play, but then thinking about it now, like touch on what you think, like what you said, yeah. He hasn't played. We've never seen him. Probably 90% of the fan base haven't seen him play a game of football. Do you know what I mean? And we don't know how good he actually is. Fair enough. I don't trust Arteta. You know what my views are on Edu and Arteta is, but in this case with Saliba, I don't know how good he is. I'm gonna watch him obviously play for Nice now. I'm gonna watch him. Do you know what I mean? And watch him closely. He did play well the other day, but I don't. You know what I mean, I'm gonna watch him the rest of the season. But other than as well as his mum passing and that has probably affected him in a big way, and maybe that is a factor in why he didn't play. But I wouldn't have started him anyway. I don't think in the Premier League. He's a young kid. He's probably not ready if he hasn't played. So I agree. Put him out on loan and see how he does. You know what I mean? Get his mind right in France so he could be with his family, support after his mum passed and stuff, and let him grow. And then let him come back next season, see how he does in pre-season and see what he does. Because he might be a gem. We don't know. I don't know. I'm not putting all my chips on one player anymore. I'm not doing it. I've done it with loads. So,
Callum, can I just interject? I think I'm gonna romanticize this a bit. He's gonna go back. He's gonna go through healing and growth and maturing, and he's gonna be ready to leave his family at the end of the season. Then he comes back a man, and yeah, man, it's gonna be brilliant.
Let's hope so, because
Arsenal fans do clearly.
Yeah, we look too much into things. But yeah, I want him on the right. I want him and Gabriel next to each other. We need a proper right-sided defender. That is a class. We need someone on that right. We can't be dealing with Holding anymore, or the Mustafi, or David Luiz. I don't believe Holding's good enough.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't. I don't think Holding should be in our first team, though. I think he should be coming off the bench.
He's not good enough.
You think he's good for the first team, though?
I think right now he is. For sure he is. I think he's brought in a lot of Yeah, but I mean, when you look at the new contract that's being given to him, right? Apparently this man earns less than Alex Renarson, our second choice keeper. So you can imagine what kind of wages he might be on, from around maybe 40.
Yeah.
Right?
To
50. If Rob Holding's earning less than that, then that's really unfair, especially for, in my opinion, an Arsenal man. And I think he's played really well. I mean, defensively, he's been really solid against good players. And if you look at how he was on the ball, I mean, I remember some really nice touches. Him taking it on the knee and then lobbing it over one of the strikers against West Brom. I know it's only West Brom, but still. I think he's decent. I think he's earned an extension at Arsenal because of his longevity. And I mean, he's one of our longest serving players, no? I think at the very least he deserves a spot in our squad for the rest of the season, and maybe a couple of seasons beyond that before we sell him on. And I think we're gonna get.
Guess who else is one of the most longest serving? Bellerin, another legend. You're about to say something, Callum. You're about to say something.
I believe Holding maybe stay to the end of the season and be on the bench, but he's not good enough. I remember what he did against Aston Villa this season when we got battered, where he's standing off. I remember them chances, the times when he's played bad this whole season. The last 3 games don't fool me. I know what he's gonna do. He's gonna do the same mistakes like a lot of these players do. They play well for a few games, and you know what I mean. They look $1 million, and then the next time when we actually need them, when we're in a big game with a lot of pressure, they fold. And these players do it too often. So I don't believe in these players anymore. I'm not gonna believe in them because every time I have believed in them, they've let me down. and I'm not putting all of my efforts in these players anymore. So I want them to go. We need fresh blood in that defense. Players that new. We need new. So I'd say get rid of them at the end of the season.
I want to end it on 120. We had a couple of questions in the chat, so I just need you guys to answer quickly before that. Zoom, what was your best Kolasinac moment, if you had any, at Arsenal, just quickly? If you can remember. You can actually take it as what was your best or worst or funniest. Which one is easier for you?
I think there was just one game where he bodied, he kept out muscling someone. I think it was one of these United games, and it was just really nice to see. But that's about it. And then one of his worst moments. I mean, there's a couple of that type. He just goes down to the byline. Instead of putting a cross, he just fumbles over his own feet and just falls. And you're 60,000 of you at the Emirates, and you're just like, what the hell, bro? There was another thing more recently. He did miss an open net. Remember, I think it was in the Europa League.
Oh yeah,
or one of these top games. I mean, ridiculous. But yeah. I mean, also
the
pass to David Luiz that exposed us in one of these big games recently. I think it was Man City or something like that. Anyway,
Tottenham away.
Tottenham, yeah. Let's go. Yeah.
So, Callum, any moment that you remember most about Kolasinac?
Yeah, I remember what I remember is from this season. I think it was in the Europa League, and when I saw him in the team sheet, I'm like, not again. Yeah, so I'm watching again, and he's come on the left, and he tried to run up. He tries to run up the field, run up, and then he tries to go back, passes it because he's all left foot and he can't use his right foot. It's obvious what had to get defend him. Had to get the ball off him. So he lose the ball like 100 times in that game. I can't remember who it was. One of them pub sides in our group. Yeah. But he lost the ball like 100 times, and I'm just like, what are you doing? What are you thinking? Some of the things he does, I'm like, what are you thinking? In the way the times when he passes to an opposing team, why are you doing that for? Like, it's clearly that he's right in the path of where our player is. So yeah, I think I can't think of an exact moment, but I think of maybe this season in the Europa League, the times when he has played, he's been terrible.
Very harsh. Let me bring some positive into it. I remember in the Community Shield, he did score a very good header against Chelsea, which actually helped us win that Community Shield. I do remember a volley in the Europa League, a very good volley that I think gave us the lead in that game. I don't remember which team, but it's one of these funny teams used to play like, was it like a Red Bull something? I don't know. Some of these teams
play group stages.
Yeah, Sparta Prague, Olympiacos, this kind of team. So Zoom again, Kolasinac has left. Ozil is about to leave. Saliba has left. Who do you want to be next?
Socrates.
Okay. Just one. Just one. I just wanted one. Yeah.
Then wait. If it's just one, then I have to choose Granit Xhaka.
Granit Xhaka. Wow. Callum. Who would you say? Bellerin. Oh, come on, guys! You're actually going to leave Mustafi in the team, Chambers in the team, and get rid of Xhaka and Bellerin?
Obviously, I want to get rid of them. But if I were to pick one player, I'll get rid of Bellerin because he, like I said, he's one of them players. He's the one up there with Ozil, in my opinion, where he's just what we are nowadays. What other clubs laugh at us for being. He said that when we lost against Liverpool after the game, and he was like, every team loses against Liverpool, something like that along them lines in an interview. And I'm like, is that where your mindset's at? Like every team loses, you want to win the game. Do you know what I mean? So get rid of him first. I would get rid of him.
Okay, Nicholas says he's news on signing players. One thing I'll tell you, maybe you'll get one player, maybe on loan, probably get rid of more than you're going to get. And then the last question.
We bought a player.
Yeah, we bought a player from, I think it's a youngster defender. Zuhum, HJ90, last question. Who would be your ideal midfielder to bring in?
I genuinely believe in this. Sorry, go ahead, Cal.
No, you sure? I'll go for that. Sorry, I'll go for that Brighton midfielder. But what's his name? Basuma? I'll get Basuma. I think every time I've seen him play this season, he's been class. I honestly think him next to Partey would be a good partnership, man, and be solid. Because he can just sit there and Partey will push a bit more forward. Do you know what I mean? He likes to push a bit more forward. Give him a bit more, you know what I mean, a bit more room in the midfield. And, you know what I mean, be good defensively as well. So I think I'd get him, 100%.
So?
I understand that, but I mean, I feel like if we get Bissouma instead of Emiliano Buendia, we put too much pressure on the shoulder of Emil Smith Rowe and on the shoulders of Smith Rowe, Bukayo Saka, and Martinelli, because these kids, man, they know we've suddenly started winning games. They know, we're pretty good, huh? And we're kind of like the reason we're winning games. So at the same time, when these guys start getting figured out, they're gonna think about it with a different tone. They're gonna be like, yo, it's all on us. It's a lot of pressure to put on our kids to carry our season for us and get us maybe, I don't know, Europa League or something like that. I think we need to add more quality in our creativity, and I think Buendia would be best because he doesn't become a direct competitor to Emil Smith Rowe the way maybe Julian Brandt would, because he's a direct number 10. Emiliano Buendia apparently is the best tackler in England. He was the best tackler against, up against guys like Ndidi and Fred and McTominay and all these really good, even Bissouma. He was a better tackler than Bissouma, actually, Callum. And at the same time, he creates all these chances, and he's so versatile. I think he would have been, to be honest, I really see him being able to be the player that replaces Santi Cazorla, because they're so similar in style.
Yeah.
And I just wonder how much he would. Yeah, I think if Emil Smith Rowe needs a breather, we could go into a midfield 3 of Xhaka sitting deep and Partey and Buendia, maybe even 4-2-3-1. He could take on the number 10 role. I really love Bissouma, and I really feel like once we let go of El Neni and Granit Xhaka and Dani Ceballos, we need to get in Bissouma, because that guy is a baller. So I fully agree with you. I completely understand why he is bossing midfields. He is so intelligent and also so physical, and he's got that excuse my language, shithousery about him. Remember him laughing at
when he played? When we played them, we were in the corner and he just came and just took him out.
Yeah, man, he's just got that about him, and he's just very cocky. I love that about him, and I think he'd be an amazing addition to our midfield.
Zuma spoken about Wendy. I actually did a video on him. I've put the link in the chat if you want to check it out. And it was about how Arsenal could line up with Buendia. I actually kind of struggled to get a position for him, because it's actually, you'll have to drop Saka or Smith through one of them to put him in the team, and they've been playing very well. Because I'd put because if you have Buendia, between Aubameyang, Lacazette, Saka and Smith Rowe, one of them has to sit on the bench. They can't play all 5 of them. I doubt, obviously, some want Aubameyang to sit on the bench, but we all know, Callum, Aubameyang is not going to sit on the bench, especially that he's been brought back to the team. He's not going to be taken out again. And Lacazette has been probably our best player. He's not going to be dropped. So Smith Rowe and Saka, would you actually bring Buendia and take Smith Rowe out?
No, I don't think I will, because Smith Rowe is playing so well. I mean, he looks like a class. I've been wanting him to play in the first team for years. I've seen how good he is, and honestly, it's one of our kids, and it honestly makes me happy that one of our kids is performing into the level he's performing, and it's like he's doing the job that Ozil should be doing. You know what I mean? In our squad, he's like our new Ozil, not on that prime, obviously, not at the quality yet, but honestly, I think he will. And I think he should keep him in the team. Maybe get Buendia and put him on the bench. Bring him on in some game when, like I said, when Smith Rowe is tired, or when he's a bit under pressure. You know what I mean? We maybe lost a game or we draw the game, and there's a lot of pressure in the midfield. Bring him on, So I'll keep Smith Rowe in there.
I disagree actually. I disagree actually with Buendia. I think Buendia walks into Dani Ceballos' role easy. I think we could easily play a midfield of Buendia and Thomas Partey, because if Xhaka and Dani Ceballos can hold it down with a number 10 ahead of them, easily bench Xhaka and Dani Ceballos. Xhaka and Dani Ceballos, in my opinion, are some of those players that we need to get out of our club as well.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, even against West Brom, both of them had iffy moments where if we were playing a better quality team, we would have been punished for those mishaps. And that's what Xhaka and Dani Ceballos represent for me. They represent a weakness in moments that get punished with better opposition that we're playing. So for me, Buendia comes in and he just takes on a midfield role. Maybe the 8 and maybe Thomas Partey sits a bit deeper, or the other way around. They can dovetail. I remember how Coquelin and Cazorla figured it out. And Cazorla wasn't even a central midfielder. I mean, obviously he was a genius, but still, in my opinion, Buendia comes in with Thomas Partey. And Emil Smith-Rowe shouldn't be benched unless he needs to be benched.
I didn't think about that because before I did that video, I had Buendia saying he wants to play as a number 10. And then so my question on that video was, can Smith-Rowe play alongside Partey in the middle, or is it too much hard work for him? But since we brought up Buendia, I think he can play in that. Maybe he can play that. Then all of a sudden you have a very strong attacking lineup.
Yeah, I don't know if Emil Smith-Rowe can deal with that kind of constant intensity because of his injury problems. And at the same time, this is all he's ever known, the number 10 role. When he went to Huddersfield, he did it well there. When he went to RB Leipzig, I mean, he was blighted with injury, but he did it all right. When we were playing with when we were using him in the Europa League with Unai Emery, that's where he shone through. And even for England under 21s, that's the positions he likes taking up. That's that in that second goal versus West Brom, the way he played, the way he created that move, because he saw it. I think that's the difference between someone like Emil Smith-Rowe and some other creative players. He sees, Mesut Ozil could see a move sometimes, and Emil Smith-Rowe can see that move. He might not have the most incisive Kevin De Bruyne pass in the world, but he sees a move. And I think that's what makes him beautiful to watch in the same way. But I think Emil Smith-Rowe in midfield would be, that would be risky, man. That would be very risky. I think we'd be asking a lot of him. I think maybe when he starts waning, when he's around 28, he could probably start learning how to play that role, the way you see guys move from central midfield to central defensive midfield, or even our Santi Cazorla from right wing to central midfield.
Yeah, I remember there's a season Cazorla played as a left winger for a whole season. But we were covering Kolasinac, Saliba, and Ozil. They did a good job on it, and we found our way to talk about nearly everyone, apart from Willian. Why don't you guys talk about Willian? Is he that bad? Come on.
Yeah.
But so you guys didn't mention Willian in any of those positions, Zuhum. So guessing he's out of your plans totally. But I have Zuhum's at the bottom. You can follow everything Arsenal Twitter. You can see Zuhum's Twitter and Instagram down there, and that is Callum's Instagram. You can also follow Harvey and the House and G Show. They do some stuff there with Callum and Graham. So you can follow them on that Callum's Instagram at the bottom. So thank you guys for coming on, Zuhum. Any last words?
Things are looking up. I've been asked if we can make top 4. Just chill out. Let's see how we go through that run of games that's coming up ahead. And let's see how Thomas Partey impacts our midfield. And we take it from there. So we can talk about this again a lot more in January, end of January.
Will you beat Newcastle? FA Cup?
Depends on how he rotates it, but I think we will.
Willian and Pepe will come in. Just know that. Callum?
I'm happy we started to win. Like I said, I don't agree with the manager and the way he is, but I'm just happy. I just want us to win games now. It's got to a point, but I just want us to win, and we're winning. So let's just get the winning go. I don't care about where we are in the league. I don't really care about the league right now. I just want us to win games. So let's just keep winning. Let's keep winning, and let's go to the summer and change our team, change our squad.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you, Zoom. Thank you, Callum. And shout out to Harvey too. And thank you, everyone in the chat. I can see WSL, all the chats. Poez, Ray, RK Sweetie, ain't worried about nothing. He came in at Callum and Zoom with some, why are you saying that? Why are you saying that? But I appreciate the comments. Shuja was in the chat. Thank you. Obviously, Ali Lewis, Lucas Life, and anyone else that I'm forgetting. Pedro, thank you all for coming in. That was Ozil, Saliba, Kolasinac. Thank you again to Zuhum, Callum, and Harvey. Thank you for watching. Keep staying safe.